Alright, this will be a performance review of the GAN 16 versus the WeiLong V11. Out of the box, I thought both of these cubes were not main-worthy, and that's because the GAN 16 was a little too slow and blocky and not enjoyable to turn without lube, while the V11 was almost unusable out of the box. It was too fast, it was too loose, and I can see how Yeehan could spam TPS on it, but there wasn't any way to control it. What was good about these cubes is their size is good for two-hand, the GAN is slightly larger, they both have an extremely premium feel, both with the UV coating but also internally. They're rather plush, and they distribute lube quickly if they also eat lube rather quickly, but they also have the right adjustment systems, and what I mean by that is they don't have the TG's magnet adjustment system, which may cause additional catching and just make the cube less smooth internally. Instead, they opt for corner core adjustment magnets, no magnet adjustment, as well as the dual adjustment system for the tension and compression, which I opted to set on the GAN to 4 and 12, and on my V11 I set it to 3 and 5, I believe. Yep, 3 and 5. I also changed the magnets in the corner core on the GAN to the green strong magnets, and this made the feeling still strong but not super slow, because I had already loosened the cube from the out of the box tension, but I kept the elasticity rather strong. It's in fact on its max setting. I'll also say, once I did these tension adjustments, that I left it just with tension and magnet adjustments, and I did an average of 25 on both of these cubes. On the GAN, I got a 10.73 average of 25, while on the V11, I got a 10.66. After my setup with my lubes, that's Hisker for the core, a load of silk, I'm almost running out for the pieces, and 1 drop of DNM, after which I had to add more silk before I enjoyed the feel. These cubes then performed with a 10.44 AO25 for the GAN 16 and a 10.50 average for the WeiLong V11. The only issue with all of this is that even though these are the flagship cubes and they do have a really nice feel, they simply do not perform the best for me. I'd say when I'm doing mobile solves, I'm comfortably sub 10, and while I'm stack matting, I don't expect to be much more than sub 10.5, which these cubes were able to do. However, with my current main, Luke's V5, I am at 10.06 average with no lube, and with lube, I'm at 10.09 AO25, which is basically right on the low to sub 10 range for averaging even with stack mat. So if these cubes feel okay and they perform decently, this cheaper cube, even with Luke's premium setup, this cheaper cube still performs better for me. And so the only other things that might make you consider these cubes are turn feel and if it's fun to solve for you, right? And fun for me is a little bit of, does it perform well in competition, which I'd say these ones probably won't, but they might be backup mains depending on the scenario. And is it likely that I could get a one really lucky time because of how fast they are and break my PB? To which I'd say they're just about as likely as the Huawei TG. All of these flagship cubes are extremely fast and they're reliable in those tough situations. I can get a lot of 7s easily on any of these cubes, but I'd say I get sub 10s most frequently on the V5. I get them second most frequently on the V11. I'm just very consistent on the GAN 16, but not quite sub 10 usually. And I get a lot of rather solid times on this V11 and also on the WeiLong. I've got my PB2, my 5.95 or something PB2 on this cube, but I'd say most consistently in like the 8s regularly, some 7s and a couple 6s would be my V5, so I think it's just the most likely cube to break a PB. It's the most likely to perform best in competition. It just doesn't have the best turn feel for me. And so if you really just wanted a cube that turned enjoyably for you, because competitions don't matter as much, and you think you can break a PB on any of these as long as you set them up right for yourself, and you're willing to dish out the money for a more expensive, more premium cube feel, then I would say the GAN 16 is better for rougher turning styles. And the V11 is better for softer, airier turning styles. It also has slight risk of corner twisting and scrambling, but not usually in the solve itself, so I'd say that's pretty fine. But honestly, even still, the feel on the V5 is good enough for me, so I think in a competition between GAN 16 and the WeiLong V11, the only loser is your wallet, so go for the V5 probably. That's been my little cube rant in comparison. If you have any other cubes you'd like me to try comparing, we'll see if I have them, or if you have questions on these cubes, just ask. That's it. Happy cubing.